government can step back and say, you know what, 30 years from now, 20 years from now, we want to be over here. This is where we are today, this is where we're going to go. So they can actually implement longer term planning. And that, where there is not yet a market, that's where I think government leadership really shines. Again, going back to the messaging about trying to bring space off the pedestal and make it more human and applicable is, my friends from the Bay Area, they start with people and users and use cases, and we start in laboratories, and I used to do a lot of math, and it was so great that nobody cared.
For everyone, whether you're going government, lab, out of lab, into commercial, you have to understand financial structures. It just doesn't happen without it. And that leads us back to the topic you brought us in on.
Messaging.
Civics.
Yes.
Same thing with civics. Like, how capital is allocated makes a difference in society. And the cost of not allocating versus the cost of allocating it. In what we do domestically here in the city, here in the state, here in the country, here in the world, what we spend money on is what's important.
How do we get over this horizon effect? Because I think a lot of it has to do with messaging. Like, to me, the thing that excites me so much about the concept of a Green New Deal is because it's like, hey, we don't know exactly what that means, but that message, that excites me. It is, we could do this public works program that puts a ton of people to work to transform our energy sector, really combine public-private resources. That's, to me, comparable to the concept of going to the moon or World War II mobilization. It's like, hey, we have this big goal that we need to acknowledge. We need to survive as a species. Currently, what we're doing is rapidly destabilizing us. That's why I think this was so exciting for me in the concept of going to the moon is like a unifying concept and it's worked in the past. So I guess my question to kind of round us out here is, what messaging has worked for you guys to get people excited about your work, to get excited about this future of astropreneurship, and just excited about working together as a species to build a better future?
So I'll have to push back a little bit when you say that, sorting out these societal problems while it's not going to the moon, they're a lot harder. Going to the moon, we had systems with a few thousand parts, maybe 10,000 parts. And there's interfaces between each of those parts, and you have to do good systems engineering. We got there with sliders.
We didn't go to the moon because it was easy.
You're right. This country has 300 million parts, each of which have some unknowable amount of degrees of freedom, and there's 7 billion of them on the planet. I think that what gets me excited personally, and when I can engage with people, is there are too many things that cannot be measured, but there are a lot that can be. My aha moment for why am I here was actually a class at HBS, and the professor was talking about the power of the firm in our society. And what you can do with a company in our society is pretty dang impressive. It's not until you actually engage with people in what it is that matters to them that they get excited. So I've tried to get away from saying space is so cool, let me ram this down your throat. It's, you've got a lot of hard problems and we can be a part of how you solve them. And that's the sort of the flip that occurred to me.
I feel like there's an exploitation of people's unknown fear and everything like that. So I think the messaging needs to be more open around what this field has to offer and just what it means and what we can do with it in a positive way. But as far as messaging, I'm not sure exactly the answer, and coming from the side at NASA, but what's really worked for me is just, like I said, making things more approachable and being hey, we do really cool stuff, don't you want to do it with us? That's what I want to trend toward, because I wish everyone could, I know you did work there and you said I had to work there, but I really love, there's parts that stink, don't get me wrong, I know, but I really do feel so blessed working there, because I love just feeling a part of that really cool wonky community. And I coming here tonight, shout out to the CIC, because it's I feel I'm with a bunch of like-minded thinkers. When I went to DC, when they had the Apollo kind of tribute, 50-year tribute thing on the Capitol, that was actually one of the first moments, and maybe the last, where I genuinely felt this overwhelming emotion about working at NASA. I was and I actually think I shed one tear. I was but it was actually super impactful to be a part of that. But I think what the messaging needs to be is we all really could be a part of that stuff. It doesn't have to just be NASA. I mean, I am proud of being a part of the agency that did that, and with help from everybody else too. it's just like you feel a certain sense of duty. But the messaging needs to be much more like we're doing this together, because it's so much more fun when you do this with other people. So yeah.
We are in this together.
Not only challenge myself, but I would challenge everyone in this room to really think about what, not just climate action, but what humans and what humanity would look like if we all did come together, regardless of our fears, regardless of these imaginary, boundaries that we have placed upon ourselves, for the better collective. And I think we all always want that, but it's a matter of how do we get 8 billion people to see that.
Such a great recap. The word that comes to mind as you're talking is like stewards. Like, how do we embrace this like stewardship model of protecting the earth, of growing with it? And if we earn that right to stay alive by, making the right decisions collectively, then maybe we spread our stewardship to the universe, and our species is alive for thousands of years because of the work being done here today, and because of the conversations that we're having. So ultimately, we're all in this together. Here at NewViews, our program is continuing to grow. We're trying to have people on that will engage. Thank you all for engaging. This is we're trying to take this deeper dive in. I really learned a lot, got inspired a lot, and I hope you in the audience did as well. So with that, thank you, and have a good night, everybody.